Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bedomy and this is Grand Theft Auto 5. Open world action adventure game developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Studios. Or is it Interactive? I honestly have no idea. Anyway, this is my first venture into the GTA franchise, so if I mess something up, I apologize, but I'm not too interested in open world games because in most cases it's just quantity over quality, and that's not something I'm looking for in a game. Yes, I can acknowledge the fact that a lot of effort and time went into creating a very big world and a map and a game world for the player to explore and do things in, but if you just make it a big world and don't put anything interesting in it, I will lose my interest in it rather quickly. But to be fair, I came to this game with an open mind, and so far I'm having a blast. Granted, it's still a bit too big for my liking, but at the very least it does keep me interested in finishing the gameplay story and also find fun in playing the game itself. At least when I'm free roaming, the story missions are always entertaining. Anyway, before we proceed to the gameplay, we'll take a quick look at the settings options and proceed to the single player of the game. I will not touch the multiplayer of this game because my network is terrible, and when I do manage to enter the game, it ends rather briefly because I lose connection. So first, for starters, we have a lot of options, as you can already see. We have gamepad, keyboard, mouse, key bindings, audio, camera, display, graphic options, voice options, notification options, and Rockstar Editor, which is... I'm gonna guess it's something of a create your own movie inside the game on demand. I have no idea how it works actually, because I didn't use it just yet. I will learn a bit more about it and then probably make a short film with the game's assets. But that's the story for another time. So as you can see, we have a separate slider for the gamepad, which we can actually customize. Well, not customize freely because actions are bound to specific buttons, and you can just probably choose if you which step you do want to use. So once we double click on the specific setting, fuck it. Oh, I apologize, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Once we double click on the specific setting, it will lock us on that window and allow us to scroll up and down the specific window. And as it seems, the controller cannot be rebound. It can only be the only thing you can adjust on it is how well you accelerate how well the movement acceleration and sensitivity of the thumbnails works. I'm really sorry. I'm not playing this on consoles, and I'm not too big on consoles in general, so I have a gamepad for fighting games, but I do not use it for other types of games such as shooters and action games. Well, for RPGs and shooters it's preferable to play with a mouse and keyboard, but for action RPGs it's probably better to use... Well, not action RPGs. Okay, that is a thing. For action games and... I don't know, flying games and fighter games, that's more of a controller's field. But in these types of games where precise control is required, I think mouse and keyboard are the default control method you should look for. As you can see, we have a mouse and keyboard setup where we can adjust the sensitivity of the mouse and how do we control the camera with the mouse, and also adjust the sensitivity of driving vehicles, planes, and submarines on separate sliders. This is always good. We can also choose if we want to invert mouse controls when we're looking or driving, but I usually turn them off because I don't need to invert the controls in order to navigate myself. I honestly don't know why people even do this. The key bindings can be readjusted at any point, and they're organized into separate categories such as general movement, combat, vehicles, normal movement, aircraft movement, submersibles movement. A lot of different types of combinations of keys and navigation. So for starters, let's take a look at the combat controls, which are relatively simple to use and easy and user-friendly, so you don't have to rebind them too much. Movement keys are also pretty much standard movement keys for any action game where you control a character with WSAD, jump with space, and run with shift. Let's give you a second just to figure out. There's always a lot of them, so I kind of get confused when I'm trying to figure out something interesting to show up. For example, if I wanna control a vehicle, it does have a similar control setup as the movement keys for the character, but there are some other control methods that you have to use. For example, if I want to use an aircraft, I have to steer it with the numpad and not the usual control method of WSAD. These are used for leaning and increasing or decreasing speed. So a lot of control methods, and luckily you can chain different keys to different actions, or you can use a single key for multiple actions, such as vehicles, for example. You can enter a vehicle with an X, and you can also use the X to duck or hide inside the vehicle while you're being chased, or just want to act funny when you're listening to the radio. So let's see, movement, general, no. Where is the... yeah, as you can see, I have X bound to the enter vehicle and also hide inside the vehicle to the same button. So that's about it for the key bindings. We can also check the audio sliders. For the sake of copyrights, I turned off the music so you don't have to hear it. If you want to listen to the music, play the game and listen to your favorite radio stations. You can also fine-tune you can also choose which radio station you want as the default one when you enter a vehicle. And if you're not into radios, you can also scan your own computer and look for your own personal music albums or personal favorites when it comes to music, and just play them on shuffle as you're playing the game. You can scan your computer quickly, or perform a full scan and simply order the computer to scan a specific file. But since I don't have any music, since this is a new computer, I am not gonna scan for anything. We can adjust the camera controls as to how the camera will act or follow us at any specific moment. So if I'm using the camera in the first person perspective, I can adjust my field of view. I can adjust how well the camera will follow the character's head, or my field of view as the character gets thrown around and ragdolls around the place or rolls around. The camera will just mimic the movement of the head, basically. Which is a very nice touch from the developers. It really adds to the immersion of the game. The display options allow you to adjust the radar, the heads-up display, and how do you want to, and which type of weapon targeting indicator do you want. Do you want a simple dot? Do you want something more complex? You could also adjust if you get a GPS route on the minimap, or do you simply want to put a waypoint and drive around without any indication as to which route is the shortest. Graphics, you can basically adjust the resolution. Do you want full screen on or off? The aspect ratio, anti-aliasing, scaling, texture quality, reflection quality, that type of scalings. You can also adjust the population density and variety. And the graphics options, which is rather confusing, because one that, yes, this is partially the display of the game, but it's more or less the in-game character models. So actually, yeah, it actually falls into the graphics category. It affects how many and what variety of pixels you'll actually see. So yeah, we can adjust the quality of the in-game textures, the shadows, particle quality, water quality. You can adjust a lot of things. Advanced graphics are just some extras. I don't know what to call them. I'm gonna go on a limb here and just assume that this is some special visual effects that will take up more memory from your graphics card and just make the game more pretty. But considering I'm recording this, I'm keeping these things off to make it easier on myself. Voice chat, this is basically in-game voice chat for the multiplayer, and notifications are, I'm honestly not sure when or how when do they come into play, or at least for which type of the game do the notifications are affected. In multiplayer, even if I turn everything off, I will still get notifications and calls in at most inappropriate times from the other NPCs, and I'll never get rid of them, even though I try to turn them off for as soon as possible. But no, I can only postpone them for an hour in the game, but that's about it. I will still get calls from other NPCs, some other in-game companies, to tell me about brand new sales and deals I can achieve with the next call. And they usually call right when you're fighting someone and then get killed because you answered the phone instead of shot the gun. Ugh, I really hate that. I really hate these notifications. And that's about it. Let's go to the gameplay and take a look at the single player portion of the game. I will not go to the online multiplayer portion of the game because single player is similar to multiplayer in every regard. The only difference is you have to play with other people, and most of these guys are either hacking or just killing you on the spot. Not to mention that if you have a terrible network connection, you will face a lot of loading times, and you won't have as much of a good time as playing the single player. Oh god, I wish I had a better internet. Playing this game online with friends is fun, but there are some problems with the online portion of the game still. For example, if yes, I know, Michael, we all love that boat. Anyway, the online portion of the game really requires, I'm not gonna say patience, but teamwork, and that's something that not many people have the patience for it, or the internet for it to be more precise. So if your network is giving you trouble, you won't be able to load into the game on time. You will have to wait for 10s or 5s or 15 minutes in order to just enter the game with your friends. And in most cases, the in-game servers will just send you to a random server and not the same one where your friends are. So it's a lot of stressful situations for an open city simulator. Damn it! Oh, piss off, you idiot! Don't drive into me. Drive into someone else. And as you can see, this is GTA 5. It's an open world simulation where, well, not criminal simulator. It's just it's a game about a bunch of criminals trying to make sense of the world around them. And as you can see, we're doing a side. I'm not gonna say a side quest. It's more of a random event. You just something happens and you have to either help a citizen in need. For example, I'm not even from here. Thanks so much. Yes, I'm not saving you. For example, as you saw, I just stopped the purse snatcher from running away with the woman's money and returned the money to the woman. I can also choose not to return the wallet and simply run off, but when you play this online, it will actually give you not certain bonuses, but it will reduce your mental state. Excuse me. Mental state, and that will lead to a. I'm not gonna say a better time, but it will reduce your chances of getting targeted for bounties and the like. So, this is Los Santos in the state of San Andreas. And as you can see, it's a very well detailed city. Everything is nicely shaded, the texture quality is very high, as I already said in the settings. And the damage your vehicles and some buildings sustain is very dynamic. So as you saw, I was in a couple of crashes and managed to damage my car. So I will damage my car a bit more just to demonstrate what I mean. As you can see, I damaged the wall. I also damaged the car. And the more I damage it, the more obvious the damage is. But GTA isn't only about stealing cars and driving. It's also about shooting, avoiding police, and finding yourself in rather comedic situations with your fellow characters. So, at the moment we're playing with, not Franklin, with Michael. Michael, one of the 3 playable characters, who is a mentor character to Franklin, which is the guy in green, indicated by the green stuff. I am not gonna say due to some race, because we live in the times where saying someone is a person of color might be considered racist, even though it's just the shortest way of saying that who's who in a game filled with people of different ethnicities and backgrounds. But as you can see, it's really doesn't matter in GTA. Everyone you meet is expendable and can be killed at a moment's notice. Apart from the story-related characters, then you're kind of in trouble if you kill them, and you have to restart the whole mission. If you're playing one, that is. Ooh! Okay, this happened. I managed to hit a pedestrian, and I'll get the hell out of here before the cops show up. But this is actually nice. I can actually demonstrate the amount of detail and how well the car mechanics are developed. The cars have their own inertia, they have their own they have speed, they have weight behind them. How to put it nicely, as you can see, I just ran into this guy at full force and sent both of us flying. And I also can do this. I can damage my car and open up the HUD, or yeah, it's a HUD of sorts. It shows me the engine of the car. And the more recklessly I drive, the more damage the vehicle will get. And that's about it I can tell you about the cars. You can upgrade them at different garages with armor, nitro, better engines, suspensions, and the like, so you can get a better car. But that costs money, and I'm too cheap to be parted from my hard-earned, not hard-earned, but hard-stolen cash. And this is another feature of the game. You're playing as a band of thieves, at least professional thieves that rob banks, casinos, and other successful businesses. And it has a very high heist movie feel to it, similar to Ocean's 11 and similar films. So you have different phases when you're committing a robbery. The first one is to actually prepare yourself for the heist in question. You have several preparation missions where you just scoop the place, you steal the necessary equipment and vehicles, and then you organize a crew and get ready to steal the money from the selected business. At the moment, I'm not. Oh yeah, actually I am. I am committing a robbery of a submersible with Trevor and Michael, and I believe Franklin will join them at a certain point of the game. But first, let's take a look at Trevor and see what the GTA's avatar of mayhem and general player behavior is. Yeah, this is Trevor. This is what I mean when I say the avatar of GTA players. This guy will actively cause mayhem and troubles for everyone. And I and every other player loves him for it. He's just so honest. He knows he's not a good person, but he's the most sane one in this whole world of San Andreas. And that's something. And that is telling you something. When okay, that doesn't tell you anything because I'm not demonstrating what I mean by that. But if you play the GTA game, you know how people act in those games in general. Now add Trevor, who is the living manifestation of that behavior, and he doesn't hide it. He doesn't bother hiding it. He's not ashamed of it. He loves it. Every second of it. He will actively go for a beer with you, and then he will try to kill you 5 minutes later. Just for entertainment purposes, not for any monetary gain or anything. He's just doing it for the hell of it. And he's usually the funniest one to play with because I can get some of the most interesting missions are usually related to him. And you can also get into a lot of bad situations with the police and other characters without too much of a hassle. You see, when you're playing Michael or Franklin, you have to roleplay a bit, because both Franklin and Michael have their own characters. They're written in a specific way. These guys are, I'm not gonna say respected, but they have families, they have friends, and they have relationships with other people, and they actively try to maintain a certain, I'm not gonna say a mask or facade, but that's something you could consider something like that. They have to keep up appearance for their friends and family, and they try to not act on their more base impulses. But Trevor, he is just base impulses all around. He'll drive like a maniac, he'll shoot everyone he doesn't like, and he will just rob a bank or steal your business by killing the manager and taking over as the boss. And that's something to actually be impressed by, honestly. The world pushes him around and he pushes back. And you can change the characters on the fly, as you can already see. So I'm switching between all three of them just to see what these guys are up to. And also, you can utilize this mechanic in order to get yourself out of a sticky situation if you're on a heist or in a story mission with multiple characters. So, yeah, I give you a bit of a demonstration of the Los Santos environment, and the lighting quality and texture quality and general quality of the characters and models are fairly impressive. And this is something I really have to respect the Rockstar North team for developing. The AI is, I'm not going to say basic. I mean, the NPCs react to your actions. As you can see, I crashed, this guy took a photo, and then I tried to run him over and he ran away screaming. If I commit murder, someone will try to phone the police, so yeah. I committed murder, and I'm getting out of here before I get killed. Or chased by the police. And then I'm just gonna switch to another character and drive around and cause mayhem all around. So as you drive around the place, you'll find out that there isn't much to do in the world of Los Santos apart from the maybe collectible missions and some certain shops, as well as story missions, and probably some random events or story missions related to the characters. So, for example, let's check Trevor and take a look at the map. As you can see, we have several orange icons on the map, which are rampages, or just simple story bits that don't serve much of a purpose apart from showing us how much of a maniac Trevor is. He starts fighting with someone, he kills a bunch of people. And that's about it when it comes to the rampages. Every character has I'm not going to say a stylized story for himself, apart that serves as a series of side missions, but I would recommend that you play these side missions for the entertainment value alone. You can also get rewarded a lot from these side missions and get a lot of money, or you can probably get some decent weapons out of them if you know what you're doing. And as you get money, you can spend it on repairs, new clothing, upgrades for your weapons and vehicles. For example, I will upgrade my car's fenders and just get out of it. And simply leave the garage. I can also repaint the car or upgrade it a bit. I can also go to a gun store called Ammunition and then purchase ammunition, extra weapons, or upgrade my weapons. I can also purchase shirts and other types of clothing. Or I can simply drive off to a side mission and do something fun. So we'll not go into the store. We'll just drive a bit to the rampage section and then move on with the game. At least I will continue playing the game. You guys can go do whatever the hell you want. Anyway, this is GTA. You drive around, you shoot things, and you cannot enter any building you want. You can only enter specific buildings, such as stores and safe houses, which are specific houses you own, and you can save your game in there and get rid of the cops if they're chasing you. So let's see if we can add some police chase to us. Yeah, we can. We are gonna run away from the cops. rather quickly before they show up, and we'll turn off the radio for copyright reasons. As you can see, I'm already losing the cops, which is indicated by the blinking star on the upper right. And you can also check the map for the cone of vision for these red and blue dots that are following me on the map. The faster I'm driving, the faster I'll get rid of the cops, and once I'm out of their cone of vision, I should be able to get rid of the wanted level I'm on. Provided I am out of their range for a set number of... for a specific amount of time. I drive around, I use weapons, I drive, I avoid cops, and I also cause mayhem and use my special abilities. And this is one of the game's main selling points. Every character has a specific ability which allows them to help the team during heists. For example, Franklin can slow down time while he's driving and avoid crashing into someone. Trevor can go into a berserker mode, which increases the damage he deals and decreases the damage he takes. While Franklin can use his guns to slow down time and get out of sticky situations, or simply get himself into a more advantageous position. As I run around, I try to utilize the world around me for cover, or simply as basic parkour elements. For now, I'll just use Trevor's old man aerobics agility and run away from the chopper, as well as the police pursuit, and then I'll probably switch to a different character. Or actually, let's see if we can switch to a different character while we're on a rampage. No. We're wanted, so we cannot switch, and this is a limitation I have to welcome when it comes to this game. You're limited to the character if you're in a story mode. If you're playing with a single character without friends, without the friend NPCs, you're more or less, you have to do your best to protect the main character from dying. You can also utilize your abilities and weapons to survive sticky situations, or you can just kill yourself and lose some money, but respawn at the nearest hospital. And that's about it. That's about it I can tell you about the game. It is fun when you just have to drive around and shoot, but if you're trying to do anything more apart from, if you're hoping to find anything more apart from mini games and other story bits like in Yakuza games, you're gonna be disappointed, honestly. Yes, the story is an interesting one, which involves faking your own death, discovering your old flames for life, and actually, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's something along the lines of brotherhood and passing on the torch. If you play the game, you'll know what I mean. But in general, Trevor and Michael serve as mentors to Franklin, who is relatively new to the heisting scene, and the two tend to guide him across the situations he finds himself, across the situations he's in. There's also a bunch of subplots around secret services abusing their powers. And also there's a bunch of heist movie situations you have to use. Well, not use, but there's a bunch of heist movie situations you find yourself in, and you just have to survive those situations as best as you can. So, for example, if if I stole something from a casino and I have to drive away from the cops, the story would probably dictate that I follow follow a specific route and then just get away from the cops. So, for example, I drove up the road and drove into this tunnel system, which is closed off and doesn't exist. But yeah, this is something that a heist movie would have. A chase sequence with daring or skillful bike driving and escape through the sewer tunnels. And this is something I actually don't like about open world games, at least when it comes to their story modes. The world is open and you're free to do anything you like. For example, you can drive around, kill people, but you cannot enter buildings, or you cannot enter every building you want. You have to enter specific buildings at specific times in a specific way when it comes to missions, which is rather annoying. For example, what's stopping me from simply entering a bank from this angle? What's stopping me from simply driving up the mountain and then jumping across the house with my motorbike and then entering the bank from behind? Nothing, apart from the story mode, and that's somewhat annoying, to be honest. I would prefer it if I could, well, not plan my whole heist on my own. I know there's a story. I know story is important for this game, so you have to so your characters have to remain alive in order to survive it. At certain points, they will find themselves in situations that might get them killed, but they have to survive and have to do specific actions, which is honestly annoying when you're playing a game that prides itself on being an open world game. So if you screw up something during a mission, that's it. Mission's over. You screwed up. You cannot let the situation play out and have tank sharks, or what's the name of the Tarantino movie with Reservoir Dogs? That was the movie. You cannot have a shootout with the cops because you screwed up at the driving section. That's something that really infuriates me. You're free to roam the world as you see fit, but there is nothing in this world to actually keep you interested. The main reason why you play this game is the story mode. And once that story mode starts, the open world just ends. Sort of. You can still drive around the world from point A to point B in whichever way you like, but once you get to the specific point, you have to follow a script, which is anti-open world policy, in my opinion. It's not what open world games are for. They're here to let you do things in your own way, not in a way the developers want you to. The developers want you to do something that's the general idea, but they don't have to guide your hand through the whole heist. It would be nicer if you could just drive around and then do something unexpected that neither the cops nor the developers could predict. For example, if I stole from a bank, or I'm planning to steal from a bank, I can just come up here, probably get a sniper or a grappling hook and slide down through the street. Just an idea. Let me utilize the open world of the game in order to do something interesting, which is when I'm doing something. That's what I want to say. Anyway, that's everything I can actually tell you about the game so far without spoiling it. You saw the gameplay. You saw how the shooting works. You saw the parkour. The pre-running sections of the game. You saw the driving sections, and as you drive the vehicles, different vehicles, you'll find different control methods for them, as well as different ways of getting killed, which is an interesting in-game challenge for you if you want to see how epically you can die due to bad movement. And that's about everything I have to say. I'm still not too keen on playing open world games, but GTA is a rather fun game on its own. And I will probably consider playing other GTA style games in the future. And let's see, I covered almost. I think I covered everything, honestly. I covered zilch, didn't I? But then again, this is a big game, and there's a lot of things to discover about it. So once I'm done with the exploration, once I'm done exploring the story, I'll probably skip to the world exploration a bit more, and then make a follow-up video for this one. But so far, I'm having fun. Driving around, messing with the AI and the cops, and the story mode is always fun. Shooting is challenging, I'm not gonna lie. You have to utilize the environment and cover systems in order to survive. You can fight a heavily armored opponent and kill him with a well-placed headshot. And once you're done, you can just go to a strip bar or a garage and fine-tune your car and have fun with the girls. Your choice. Or simply go to your safe house and watch TV. It's honestly rather entertaining. My only gripe with the story mode is I wish there were more heists. So far, there is only 3 of them, and while they are very entertaining missions, I really want to have some non-story related missions where I just go around heavily guarded places, scout them out, and organize a crew to actually rob those places. You can do that in the multiplayer more often, but as I was saying, I would prefer it if I could do this in single player as well. So that's about it. I'm having fun. I will continue having fun with this game in the future. And excuse me, I don't know what's going on anymore. Why am I hiccupping for some reason? But I'm having fun. That's the main thing. And I believe you will have fun too if you give this game a chance. Granted, if you're more interested in smaller open worlds with more content to them, I would recommend you play Yakuza games, which are often on sale when it comes to Steam or other platforms such as PlayStation and Xbox. If they are selling on Xbox, I'm not sure actually. But anyway, this is GTA. My name has been Bedomy. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.